Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I'm going to discuss operators in Python. So what is operators? So in any of the programming language, whenever you have to perform the operations on the data or a variables, okay, so in that situation, what we do, we use some symbols or keywords that behaves like an operator which perform the operations. So different type of operations we can perform on the data in Python with the help of operators. So what and all types of operators are there in Python? So obviously, if you want to perform the arithmetic operations, so Python supports arithmetic operators. Then let's see how these operators are going to help us to perform the operations on the data. Okay, obviously whenever we start with the programming, what we need to do is we first need to have the data or values. So if you want to perform the arithmetic operations, so you can perform that only on the numerical data or on the date type data, where you can bring the next date and all like this, right? But yes, we need data, and to store the data, what we can use the variables. So here I will say x is equal to 100 and y is equal to 200. Okay, this is what my simple variables. I have created two variables and I'm going to perform the arithmetic operation. You can directly use the variation of these variables in the print function, or you can perform the operation and store that value or the output somewhere into the another variable, and then you can print the value of that variable to see the output. Obviously we are using print function to see the output. There is no actual use of this print function when we actually write a program to perform the any specific task in like organizational level. Okay, to test our output we use this print, but yes, that is required when we have to confirm, we have to check the output at the time of learning. Okay, fine. So here it performed the first operation. This is what the addition. So this first arithmetic operation is addition. So we will be able to use the plus operator or this symbol plus symbol to perform the addition of two numbers in Python. Okay. Then next, if you want to do the subtraction, there is a subtraction operator like minus you can use, and if as a subtract, okay, so this is going to perform the subtractions. And now if I run this, you will be able to see that x minus y is obviously 200, x is 100. So if we subtract 200 from 100, we will get the negative 100. Okay, like this it is going to work. So this is how we can have the various types of operators, that multiplication, division operators, then floor division. Floor division is nothing but integer result. Okay, so I will discuss that part also. And if you want a reminder, we can have the reminder by using modulus operator and then exponentiation. Okay, if you want to find the power of any number, we can use these operators. So let's perform this. Okay, so here now I'm going to use the multiplication. So if I say x into y, so this is what my multiplication. And now if I run this, so you will be able to see that 100 into 200 is nothing but 20,000. So we are getting the same output. Okay, and here every time on every line, what I'm doing is I'm reassigning the value of z. Okay, that's why I'm getting the updated result. Okay, But if you want to create the variables called z1, z2, z3, you can create that. There is no issue. Okay. Here I am just using the same variable so that the existing data will get modified, and the last calculations or last value will be only stored into that memory, whatever the memory assigned to z variable. Okay. So now if I say x divided by y, okay, x divided by y, or in reverse order, if I say y divided by x, okay, so this will return me 2, right? But let's say there is a number, if you say 500 divided by 200, I'm changing the numbers now, and if I run this, so you will get output as a 2.5. But if you want only an integer number, you are not interested in decimal places, in that situation, what you can do, you can go and you can use the integer division, like meaning floor division operator. So how to use that? You just have to use the double forward slash to perform the division. So what this operator is going to do, this operator is going to return us the integers divide. Okay, so it is going to return us integer number. It is not going to return us the number with decimal. Okay. And if I say, so now you are getting only 2 as a output. So here, this is what my output. So now next operator is exponential. Okay. Exponential. So let's say if you want to find out the power of, okay, square of any number, so I will say x raised to 2. So you can use double star, meaning the 2 asterisk symbols, to make the exponential or to perform the exponential operations. So if I say exponential exponentiation, okay, or we can simply say power, and now this will return us the square of 200. Even there is one more operator which we can use, that is what the modulus operator. So modulus operator is simply represented by the percentile symbol. If I say, okay, if I say 1100 divide by, okay, if I say 1100 divided by 70, okay, like this I am doing the division. But here I don't want the number which will come exactly after performing the division. Instead of that, I want, or I'm interested in the remainder only. So remainder is returned by this modulus operator. So I will say modulus. And if I perform the operations, okay, even, okay, oh, sorry, I should run the file from here. And it says 50, okay, so it is getting completely division. But yes, okay, let me perform this into the another way, like this. I don't think so this is getting completely divided by, okay, so here we are getting 50 as a reminder, right? Right, so this is how it works. So 50 is a reminder value. Even if I say 90, if I divide 1100 by 90, so you will see something like this. 20 is the reminder, right? Even if these numbers are very much bigger to understand, if I divide this 1100 by 3, so you can see it returns 2. So we can imagine, okay, if we try to divide 100 by 3, what will happen? So it will return as a reminder as a 2. So like this, arithmetic operators are going to help us in Python programming. Obviously, operators are very much important once you get familiar with the data, because if you know the data, you will be able to select the operators, what type of operators you are supposed to select to perform the operations. On next line, okay, if I say Now I don't want to print this any output for arithmetic. Now I would like to talk about the next type of operator, that is called comparison operator, or sometime it is referred as a relational operator or conditional operators. Okay, so I will refer the word as a conditional operator. So whenever you have to return a result based on the condition, okay, meaning in conditional statement we use these kinds of operators. So what and all operators are there? Okay, if you want to do the comparison between two numbers, so we can say that whether you have to check the number is equal to or not is equal to, like this. Okay, even if it is greater than or less than. So these kinds of operators are referred as an conditional operator. So but here in case of Python you need to use double is equal to do the comparison of two values, whether that values are equals or not, equals or not. Okay, then in next line, okay, I can say if you want to perform the not is equal to, so you can use exclamatory mark followed by is equal to, and this symbol represent not equals to operator. So like this we can have the different types of operators. Now if I say greater than or less than, so here this is, I will say less than is one more operator. So we will see how these operators use. And if I say greater than, okay, greater than, then even next operators are like greater than or is equal to. Okay, sorry. Yes, greater than or equals to. Okay, I will say even one more operator is there. So less than or is equals to. If I say less than or equals to. So like this, okay, we have 6 conditional operators. And when we use these operators, obviously Python is going to return us the result in Boolean value. Okay, so if the two values are equal, it will say true. If the two values are not equal, it will say false. So in that way, it is going to perform the operations. Okay, if I don't want these values there now, if I bring the value here, if I say x is equal to 10, and if I say y is equal to 20. Okay, and now if you want to do the comparison, okay, I'm going to print here directly. Okay, not going to store the any value in any another variable. So we can do the operations like this, meaning the performing comparison like this to see the just to check the result. Okay, so if I use this, okay, it says okay x and y. Okay, so my bad, I supposed to comment out this everything. Yes, now this should work because variable we declared later, right? And here we are getting the output. Okay, let me clear the screen and then rerun the program. So now it says false. Okay, now it says false. Even if you want to add the text, what you can do, you can add the text and give the comma, and let's say result is, okay, result is. So like this we can write, and even you can see the result is false, meaning it says that these two numbers are not equal. Okay, if you want to do the same with the help of another operator that is called not is equal to, so obviously what it makes, so this says x is not equal to y, and obviously if you look at the value it is true, right? So in that case even we can get the result as a true. Why? Because the statement, whatever the Python statement we have written for the comparison purpose is true. Okay, here if I make 2020, both the values are 20, so now it will say false. Okay, so this is what my result, right? As I said, Boolean operator, sorry, the conditional operator returns us the Boolean value based on the comparison, what where you have used. Okay, like this, it will work for all the lesser than, greater than. Okay, no matter which operator you use. If I say greater than, oh sorry, if I say less than, and if I run this, so you can see that if I say x is less than y, obviously it is not, right? But if I use instead of this less than or is equal to, so or, what is the meaning of or? Either less than or is equal to. If any one is true, it will say true. So now in this case, it is going to return me true. Why? Because these two numbers are equals. Even though this is not lesser than, that is fine. If one of the condition is true, out of these two conditions, less or equal, it will say true. Okay, this is how it going to work. Similarly, it works for the greater than and all. If I say greater than or is equal to, and now if I run this, so it will return true. Why? Because the first condition is false, but second condition is true, and these two conditions are separated by or. So any one is true. If any one is true, it is fine. It will return true. Otherwise, it is going to return as false. Now, these operators are used in conditional statements like if, else in Python to control the flow of execution that we will discuss in later videos. But now our purpose is to see what and all various types of operators the Python have. Okay, so this is whatever we have seen is just to give the single condition. But let's say if you want to give the multiple conditions, what we can do in that case? Obviously, Python has one more type of operator that is called logical operator. Okay, and logical operators are help us to give the more than one conditions. Okay, so the logical operators basically used to separate the conditions. Okay, so if I say logical operators, okay, and let's say how this is going to work. So what is going to happen if I say there is an operator called and, there is an operator called or, and there is an operator called not. Okay, so we have these three operators and or not in Python as in logical operators. So not operator only used to invert the result, like the way we used not is equal to. If you are doing the comparison, and if you wants to change this to in the negative order, like not is equal to, so you can use the not there. But we cannot use not to separate the multiple conditions. We use only and or operator to separate the multiple conditions. Okay, so here I have given only one condition. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the multiple conditions. So how to use? So we can separate, as I said, we can separate, we can use and operator, and we can separate the next condition. We can give the next condition in any conditional statement. Like if I say x is less than y, is it true? No, right? Even if you look at the first condition, so first condition says this is true. If this is not greater than, this is fine, but it is equal to. So this condition returns me true. So first condition is going to return us true. Okay. And second condition is going to return us false. Okay. So the combined result of this and will be completely depends on all the conditions result. Okay, if all the conditions returns true, or all the condition expression is true, in that case and operator is going to return true. Otherwise all the time it return false. Otherwise all the time it returns false. Okay, this is how it's going to work. On next line, okay, if I say, so if I run this, you can see that the result is false. even though if I run this once again or any number of times, if I change the condition, okay, so this first condition is not true, we are fine, okay. So if I make x is equal to 50, okay, so now if I say x is greater than, or, so here in this case obviously x is greater than y, but it is not greater than, sorry, not is equal to y, but still if one of the condition is true, we will get result as a true. So first condition is going to return me true, okay. And if I say on second line, okay, if I say x is not equal to y, so this makes sense. If I say x is not equal to y, obviously by looking at the value you can say that yes, it is true. Even Python will say it is true, okay. And if it returns true, when Python returns true for all the conditions or all the conditional expressions separated by AND operator, in that case only it is going to return true. And here, if you look at my expressions, so it says both the expressions are true. And if I run this, so you will see now result is true. Otherwise, all the time, if any one of the condition gets false, your entire result of that combined or multiple conditions will be turned to false by using AND operator. That's it. That is the only use. Okay. So similarly, if you wants to use the OR operator, or work little bit differently. Okay. In case of AND, we need all the conditions true, but in case of OR, we need at least one condition to be true to return the true. Okay. So if I say one condition is true or true, like this, if I write, okay, if any one condition is true, it is going to return true. Otherwise, return false. Meaning if none of the condition is true, in that case only, OR is going to return false. Okay. So now let's see, okay, whether my first condition is true or false. So my first condition is true, right? With the same expression and returns us true. Here, my first condition is true. Even if you look at my second condition, so second condition is true. Here in this case, I am going to say x is equal to y. So here the second condition says false, right? Even though second condition says false, but my first condition says true, or will say true. Okay. If all the conditions are false, if I say x is less than y, obviously by looking at this expression, you can say that x is greater, it is not lesser, right? So this condition is false. Or if I select the second condition, x is equal to y, obviously this condition is again false. Whenever there is a false statement in whatever the number of conditions you have separated by OR operator, and if all the conditions are returning a false, in that case only OR operator is going to return us false. Otherwise, there is no chance to return false by OR operator. So this is about the logical, and works little bit differently. Okay. So sorry, not and not operator works little bit differently. Okay. If I say print, and if I say x is equal to y. Okay. So what I am saying, I'm trying to say is that x and y are equal. Is it equal? No, it is not equal, right? But if I add not before the condition, not function before the condition, what it is going to do, it is going to say that not x is not equal to y. Like this, it will change the meaning of your expression in the negative way, and in that case you will get the true, right? That is the only use of not operator in Python. Okay. Then we have something called assignment operators. Whenever you have to assign the value, we use these kinds of operators. Basically, these are the arithmetic operators combined with is equal to operators, and to perform the operations in a different way. Meaning, to write the shorter syntax in Python. Okay, so let's say this is my X and Y. If I bring X and Y down here, and assignment operator we are going to see, if I say Z is equal to, oh sorry, like I will use X plus, sorry, okay. So we first, at very first place, what we used the first assignment operator, that is equal to. Whenever you have to assign the value to any variable, what we use single is equal to. And whenever we use single is equal to, we can say that that is the is equal to, meaning the assignment operator that is used to assign the value to the variable. If you use double is equal to, that is for the comparison purpose. Okay, that is what the difference between single is equal to and double is equal to. This is used for the comparison purpose, right? So now assignment and arithmetic, if you wants to perform at the same time, okay, so in that case what we can do, we can use the assignment operators like addition assignment. Okay, if I say X is equal to, instead of this, if I say X plus is equal to 20, so, or if I say Y, okay, instead of 20 I can use any variable or any value would be fine here. So now what will be the value of X? If I try to print the value of X, you can see the output that is little bit surprising if you are new to the programming. It says 70. How? So whenever we write like this, okay, this expression resolved by the Python in this way, X is equal to X plus Y. Okay, actually this is what the meaning of this expression. And instead of plus, you can use any arithmetic operators like modulus, floor division, multiplication, subtraction, and exponential assignment. Any would be fine. Okay. So now, in the same way, if I write, okay, if I write X asterisk is equal to Y, what is the meaning of this? Just think over it and what will be the output. So obviously, this is a multiplication operator, so it is going to multiply X and Y and going to store the result into the X only. Why? Because we used the assignment operator. And if I run this, so you will get the output like 70 plus, obviously X is updated here to the 70, and that value will be used in further calculation. It's not like that only for the that expression it will be used. Obviously we updated the value of X. So 70 into 20, right? So here this makes sense, like X into Y, right? This is how the operators works. Okay, any kind of operator you can use, that is fine. You can try on other operators by your own. Apart from this, Python has few more operators, that is called identity operator. Even whenever we have to do the comparison with the memory address of two object. Okay, so Python has concept called object. When we will go through the project, meaning ops concept, object oriented programming, in that case you will understood what is mean by object and all. Let's say we have two variables. If I say we have two variables, X and Y, even I will add one more, that is Z is equal to 50. Okay, and now if I say X is Z, okay, and if I run this, so my bad, I should not run by simply pressing the Control B. That is not good. Okay, here you can see that X is Z. What I am trying to print, or what I am trying to say, I am trying to say that value of X and value of Z is equal. Okay, by looking at this expression, people may feel like this, but it says it is false. Why? So when we use this identity operator, it is not going to check your value. Obviously, if you want to check the value, there is an operator called is equal to, double is equal to, you can use and check the values. That is not a concern. The concern is that the memory address whether these two objects, meaning X and Y, is stored or referencing to the same memory of RAM while execution of program is same or not. Because the values are same, but addresses are different. The references are different. That's why it says false. Okay, if you do not understand this, that is fine. Whenever you will go through the entire programming, you will come to know what is this mean actually, object and reference. Because at very first place for the freshers, it is little bit difficult to understand or imagine. This is not difficult to understand, but you, meaning the freshers, peoples will not be able to understand how the object works. Okay, that's why OOPS knowledge is required. Then it will be very easy. Then this is very much simple. Okay. So is not, you can use, if you use is not, if the memory addresses of two objects are, if the memory addresses of two objects are not same, in that case it will say true, otherwise it will say false. Okay, so you can see now how to check the memory address. I will show you. There is a function called id. Okay, you can use the id, and if you pass the object called X, and if you say print, okay, so it will print the actual memory address of this program. So this is what the memory address. Okay, and if I do this same for Z also, even the values are same. Okay, we have two different addresses. Every time it will create the new address. Okay, if I run this time also, it will store somewhere. Okay, because what is happening, okay, when we run the program, in that case only, when Python interpreter comes to resolve this, meaning X is equal to 50, Y is equal to 20, and Z is equal to 50. So in that time only it will allow the memory, it will allocate the memory. Okay, it's not like that every time it will be different, but yes, even in some cases, sometime it will be same. It depends. We don't have control over this. Right. You can see that my address or memory address of X is continuously changing. Like, not sure why. Even Python knows that. Okay. So it is fine. So we are just trying to check whether these two addresses are same or not. Obviously, meaning the X and Y, both the variables are going to refer to the single value, meaning single memory or different memory. That's what the concern, or that is what the use of this operator. So we need this kind of operators also in advanced level programming. Okay. Then there is something called a membership operator. So I discussed the different types of data supported or data structures in Python. So there is something called list. If I say 10, 20, 30, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so this is what my list. And if you want to check if any value exists in the that collection list or tuple or set or dict, so in that case we can use this membership operator. So it will just confirm you whether that number is exist into that collection or not. If I say Z in X, okay, since this is the operator, if I run this, you can see that it says true. If I change the value of this Z to 70, and now if I run the program, it says false. Why? Because 70 is not exist in the variable called X. All right. So this is how it works. If I say not in, okay, if I say not in, now this will return true, because this statement makes sense for Python that 70 is not in X, right? So it basically, when we use the operators to check anything, whether that is exist, that is not exist, or like whether that values are same or its data types are same, in that situations, okay, we always get the output in the form of Boolean value. But that is fine. That's what we need actually to control the flow of execution. So this is about the membership operator. Then there is ternary operator. Okay, this is actually a shortcut for the conditional statement. This is what the actually shortcut for the conditional statement, but it is good to discuss this part in conditional operator, then it will be easy for understanding. So whatever the operators we have seen so far is more than sufficient to work with the Python. Okay, and I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Please do not forget to subscribe WebJam.